Hello dear friends, it's a fairy tale time. And today I decide to tell you fairy tale from Brazilian folklore, and the name of this fairy tale, Why the Sea Moans. So sit comfortably and get ready to listen for fairy tale. Once upon a time there was a little princess who lived in a magnificent royal palace. She was a very lovely little princess and she loved to sit and watch the changing beauty of the sea. The name of the little princess was Dionysia, and it often seems to her that the sea said as it rushed against the shore, "Dionysia, Dionysia." One day, little princess said to herself, "Oh, I'm so lonely. I do wish that I had somebody to play with because I'm a royal princess. I never have anybody to play with me." And then the most remarkable thing happened. The sea said very slowly and distinctly and over again, so she couldn't be any mistake about it. "Dionysia, Dionysia." The little princess walked up close to the sea, just as close as she dared to go without of danger, getting her royal shoes and stockings wet. Straight out of the wave wall, there came a sea serpent to meet her. Instead of being a fierce monster, it looked kind and gentle and good. She held out her arms to it right away. "Come and play with me," said Dionysia. "Hi, I'm Labismena, and I have come to play with you," replied Sea Serpent. After that, little princess was much happier. The Sea Serpent came out of the sea to play with her every day when she was alone. If anyone else came near Labismena, would disappear into the sea, so no one but Dionysia ever saw her. The years passed rapidly, and each year little princess grew to be a larger and larger princess. At last she was 16 years old. One day Serpent looked at Dionysia with a sad eyes and said, "I too have been growing older all these years, dear Dionysia. Now the time has come that we can no longer play together. I will never come out of the sea to play with you anymore. But I will never forget you, and I will always be your friend. I hope that you will never have any trouble, but if you ever will, call my name. I will come and help you." Then the sea serpent disappeared into the sea. About this time, the wife of the neighboring king died, and as she lay upon her deathbed, she gave the king a jewelry ring. "When the time comes, when you wish to wed again," she said, "I ask you to marry a princess upon whose finger the ring shall be neither too tight or too loose." After a while, the king began to look for a princess to be his bride. He visited many royal palaces and tried the ring upon the finger of many royal princesses. Upon some, the ring was too tight. Upon the others, it was too loose. There was no princess whose finger it fitted perfectly. At last, in his search, the king came to the royal palace where the Princess Dionysia lived. The king, was old and no longer handsome. Okay, wait, but this depends for whose taste, man. I feel amazing. But for my taste, Princess Dionysia, you are like super old. So when you tried the ring upon my finger, I really hope to hear that this wouldn't fit. But it fit perfectly. Princess Dionysia was frightened nearly to death. Will I really have to marry him? She asked her royal father. Of course, my dear. He is super wealthy king. He has a great kingdom, wonderful royal palace, a lot of money on his bank account, many different cars and horses. Listen, his palace is much better than my palace. You should be super happy that he chose you, that the ring chose you. One day, Princess Dionysia was near the sea, crying as if her heart would break. All at once, she stopped crying. How stupid I have been. My old playmate, Labismena, told me that if I ever was in trouble, she would come back and help me. With all my silly crying, I had forgotten about it. So Dionysia came closer to the sea and called softly, Labismena, Labismena. What happened, my dear friend? Labismena appeared from a sea. Dionysia told Labismena about all things happened to her. Have no fear, said Labismena. Tell your father that you will marry the king when the king presents you with a dress the color of the fields and all their flowers, and that you will not marry him until he gives it to you. Dear father, tell the king that I will marry him if he will present me a dress, color of the fields and all their flowers. This is my wish. Ah, what a wish, what a wish. She drives me crazy, this sweet Dionysia baby. I will find this dress for you wherever it cost me. And then the king found the dress, color of the fields and all their flowers. Here you go, sweet baby pie. Oh no! Oh no, is no escape. And Dionysia ran into the sea and called for her friend Labismena. Labismena, he found the dress. That's it. Have no fear, my dear friend. Go back and say that you will not be married to the king until he gives you a dress the color of the sea and all the fishes. Okay, I thought about that, and you know what? If you will present me a dress color of the sea and all fishes in it, then I will marry you. That's what I think about it. Crazy girl. Ugh, she drives me crazy. I will find this dress wherever it cost me. And you know what? I found it. Yes, it cost me a lot of money. I need to sell one of my cars. But here you go. Here is your dress, color of the sea and all its fishes. Here you go, baby. Oh no. He found it. Labismena, he found the dress. He brought me this dress, color of the sea. What shall we do? What shall we do? I don't want to marry him, really. I don't want to marry this old crazy guy. Have no fear, my friend. This time you must ask the king to get you a dress the color of the sky and all its stars. You may also tell him that this is the last present you will ask him to make for you. And trust me. When the king heard about the demand for a dress the color of the sky and all its stars, he was completely mad. But when he heard that Dionysia had promised that this would be the last present she required, he said, I will do it for you, baby. I will do it for you. You will have this dress wherever it cost me. And in a few days, hey, sweet Dionysia, I have a present for you. The dress, color of the sky and all the stars. Here you go. That's it. There's no escape. There is no escape. Labismena, he found it. He found it. Okay, my dear. Now go to the palace and get all the 3 dresses and then hurry up back here to the sea. I have been preparing a surprise for you. All the time the king had been looking for wonderful dresses for Dionysia. The sea serpent had been building a ship for her. When Dionysia returned from the royal palace with her lovely dresses, there was a little boat awaiting for her. "This little ship, which I have built for you," said Libesmena, "will carry you far away over the sea to the kingdom of a prince, who is the most charming prince in the whole world. When you see him, you will want to marry him above all others. Believe me." "Oh, Libesmena, how can I ever thank you for all you have done for me, dear? You can do a great thing for me, though I never told you, and I do not believe that you have ever suspected, but I, myself, the enchanted princess, I shall have to remain in the form of a sea serpent until the happiest maiden in the world, at the hour of her greatest happiness, call my name 3 times. You will be the very happiest girl in the world on the day of your marriage. And if you will remember to call my name 3 times, then you will break my enchantment, and I shall once more be a lovely princess instead of a sea serpent." "Yes, I promise I will do it. I would never forget your help, and on the day of my marriage I will call your name for 3 times. I promise you, my dear Libesmena." Dionysia sailed and sailed in a little ship, and once it brought her to a lovely island. She thought that this is her destination point, so she stepped out of the boat, not forgetting to take her box of dresses with her. "What should I do now? The ship has gone away and left me, and how shall I ever earn my living? I have never done anything useful in whole life." Dionysia surely have to do something to earn her living immediately, so she went from house to house asking for a job. At last she came to the royal palace. Here at the royal palace they told her that they had a great need of a maid to take care of the hens. Dionysia accepted the position at once. Time passed, and at last there was a great fast day celebrated at the city. Everybody in the palace went, except the little maid, who minded the hens. After everybody had gone away, Dionysia decided that she would go to Fiesta too. And Dionysia put the dress, which was the color of the fields and all its flowers, and then hurried up to the Fiesta. She arrived just on time for dances. Everybody in Fiesta noticed the beautiful maiden in her dress, the color of the fields and all their flowers. The prince fell madly in love with her. Wow, what a girl! Nobody had ever seen her before, and nobody could find out who the beautiful stranger was or where she came from. Before the festa was over, Dionysia slipped away, and when the rest of the royal household returned home, there was a little maid minding the hens just as they had left her. The second day of festa, everybody went early except the little maid, who looked after the hens. When others were gone, she put on her dress, color of the sea and all its fishes, and went to Fiesta. She attracted even more attention than she had the day before. When the festa was over, the royal household had returned to the royal palace, and the prince remarked to his mother, "Dear mother, don't you think that the beautiful stranger at the festa looked like the little maid who minds our hens?" "What a nonsense!" replied his mother. "How could the little maid who minds our hens get such wonderful dresses? It's impossible. Whoever the beautiful stranger at the festa may be, she is the one above all the others whom I want for my wife. I shall find her some way." The third day of the festa, Dionysia went, wearing her dress, colors of the sky and all its stars. The prince fell more madly in love with her than ever. He could not get her to tell him who she was or where she lived, but he gave her a beautiful jewelry as a present. When the prince went back home, he was so in love, so he would not eat any food. He grew thin and pale. Everyone around the palace tried his best to invent some dish which would tempt the prince's appetite. Finally, the maid who looked after the hens said that she thought she could prepare a dish which prince would eat. Accordingly, she made a soup for a prince, and in the bottom of the soup she dropped a jewelry which the prince had given her. When the soup was set before the prince, he was about to send it away, untouched, just as he did with everything else. But the sparkling jewelry attracted his attention. Who made this dish? Who made this soup? It was made by little maid who minds the hens. Send for the little maid to come to me at once, cried the prince. I knew that she's beautiful stranger at Festa, look like our little maid who minds the hens. The prince married Dionysia the very next day, and Dionysia was the very happiest girl in the whole world, because from the first moment she saw the prince, she had known that he was the one above all others whom she wished to marry. In Dionysia's excitement, she forgot everything about calling the name of her old playmate, Labismena, at the hour of her marriage, as she had promised to do so. She thought of nothing but just the prince. There is no escape for Labismena. She had to remain in the form of a sea serpent because Dionysia's neglect. She had lost her chance to come out of the sea and become a lovely princess herself. For this reason, her sad moan is heard in the sea until this very day. Perhaps you have noticed it. You will often hear the call come from the sea as it breaks against the shore. Dionysia, Dionysia, Dionysia. No wonder that sea moans. It's enough to make a sea serpent sad to be forgotten by the very person he had done the most help. Don't break promises and be grateful for your friends. This is the moral from fairy tale Why the Sea Moans from Brazilian folklore. I wish you amazing day. I wish you great mood, a lot of friends, a lot of love. Enjoy yourself and be grateful for everything you have in your life. One love.